That is why the Tata legacy is so powerful. That before the thought was seeded, the spirit was seeded.
Yeah.
That I will make an organization which will be like this. We do not have visionary leaders like that anymore. Then there are a huge set of companies in this country where if you are pregnant and you go for an interview, you will not be hired. Okay. If you have just got married, you will not be hired. If you are married 3 years and you don't have a child, you will not be hired. Now the reason is that they do not believe, the organizations, they believe that they are insulated from the community from which they draw the resources. The mindset है कि I am like a well which is insulated from all other wells in this world, and they do not see that they have an implied responsibility towards the very community from which they are drawing these resources.
Hello viewers, today I have again with me Sutradhar, and as per our earlier schedule we were supposed to release a video on work-life balance, but for the last few days we've been hearing a lot about the TCS and Infosys case that has happened, and we thought it would be good if we can talk about little bit in terms of if our systems have really failed to protect our women employees and talk about it. We are not going to talk and comment on the specific cases of TCS or Infosys because there is investigation going on, and I think we should not talk about it, and we condemn in strong words whatever has happened, but we will not get into details because we don't know any details about it. The details are still emerging, investigation is going on, so it's not right on our part to talk about it. So, but we wanted to talk about this topic because a lot of views are being expressed by people, some very strong views. Some people feel that head should be rolling. Some people feel that where are those parties who are slapping people for language issues? Why are they not taking this up seriously when their women are not being protected? Some people are telling the Tata group should own responsibility, Infosys should do that, but I think we should just wait for investigation to happen and the organizations to formally make a statement rather than jumping to conclusions at this point of time. The issue remains that something has happened, something has gone wrong. Together as a society, as a company and as a nation, I think we have failed to protect our women employees, and that is something we thought we should be talking about and see where are our systems failing, what is happening, and what is that we can think of doing together, not just push it as a law or say that okay, everything has to be done by the government, but what else that all of us can try doing it, and what is our recommendation so that these kind of incidents do not happen. So with that, I will invite Sutradhar to share his initial views on this issue, and then we'll take it forward.
Thank you, Sashi. I'm very relieved that you're not getting into a judgment or a commentary on whatever we are seeing in the news. Mostly because it takes some time for these muddy waters to clear, and there are conflicting reports. But whatever has happened, if a woman has, or a set of women and including men, have to reach the police station, in their दो टाइप के लोग होते हैं. One who is a bit more evolved, he or she understands the responsibility that power in an hierarchy projects onto them. And then there is a predominantly the other class who, when they taste the power of hierarchy, they believe that they have arrived in life, and they quickly project the same feudal setups of subjugation, exploitation. Let us now look at the society that we live in and the laws and frames. So one question I had asked you some time ago is, if something like this, can you envision in some of the advanced Western societies where the guidelines for employee interactions are extremely well documented and rigid? I'll give a classic example. About 12 to 15 years ago, or maybe a little more, one organization, a very large IT company in this country, for the first time in their history, were going to hire graduate engineering trainees. The organization that I worked for, I have I don't know why, but they had tremendous trust. Maybe it's the goodwill, and of course, हमारा जो हाव भाव है सब, and it was also a very reputed firm that I worked with. They said, you and your team do the entire process, issue the offer letters also, finish the medical also. When they come to provide for joining, that is the first time I want to interact with them. So I'm not very sure if something like this is generally happening, but at that time, the responsibility of acting on behalf of a conglomerate and implementing the same ethos, ethics, rigor of process, and transparency and fairness into the entire value chain of recruitment, so that the people that they meet for the first time in their campuses are the best. इसमें एक जगह पे बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम आया, वो था इंटरव्यू. हम टेक्निकल टेस्ट किए, ग्रुप डिस्कशन किए, सब क्लियर हो गया. इंटरव्यू आ रहे हैं ना, तो 5-6 पैनल मेंबर्स थे, क्योंकि लोग काफी हैं, तो 5-6 पैनल मेंबर्स थे. और द काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस दे आर आस्किंग, मेरा तो फ्यूज हो गया था. हाँ बेटा, आपका नाम क्या है? जी रोहित. रोहित क्या? रोहित कुमार. पापा का नाम क्या है? जी शर्मा. अच्छा अच्छा, यूपी के हो. बेटी आपका उम्र कितना हो गया होगा? 23. अब तो आपका शादी वादी होने ही वाला होगा, आप अभी क्यों ज्वाइन करेंगी? Now, the first day that I observed, I stopped the process that day. आगे का 3-4 जो इंटरव्यू का सेशंस था, सब कैंसिल करा दिए और जाके इंटरव्यूअर्स टूल किट बोल के एक बनाए. क्या है इंटरव्यूअर्स टूल किट? जिसमें इंटरव्यू बायसेस के बारे में लिखे, क्वेश्चंस दैट दे कैन आस्क के बारे में लिखे, हर कॉम्पिटेंसी के बारे में क्या सवाल करना है लिखे. उसके बाद एक काम किए, क्वेश्चंस यू कैन नॉट आस्क, एक 50 चीज लिख दिए. ये दे के आधा दिन का सेशन कर दिए इन लोगों का. उस समय वर्चुअल नहीं होता था ना, बहुत पैसा खर्चा होता था सबको बुला के कराने में. इस सेशन में हमको लगता है कैंडिडेट से ज्यादा इंटरव्यूअर्स का पैल्पिटेशन हो रहा था. अरे भाई, ये सवाल क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं? हम पूछे ये सवाल से उसका ये काम में क्या रिलेशनशिप है? चुप. नहीं देखिए, आप नहीं समझ रहे हैं. ये अक्षर, ये जो कास्ट होते हैं, ये इस काम में बहुत अच्छे होते हैं. कहां का आदमी लोग है भाई? You understand? So this is the complexity at the recruitment stage.
No, but okay, while what you're saying happens, and I know for sure it happens because I've seen it happening. Do you think somewhere it is the law of the country that is also responsible? Because if you look at HSBC, okay, I'm just telling the name because everybody knows and there's nothing wrong. It's a good practice they follow. In HSBC UK, when you are actually hiring a person, there are only 5-6 things you can ask. You cannot ask beyond that. If a person is applying for a leave, they just ask for a leave and tell, I have personal work. You cannot ask what personal work you have. Come back to India, you have an HSBC employee being hired. How much of the rules, of course, to large extent, they are governed by it, they are following it. But if you implement the same person who's joined from HSBC to another organization in India, an Indian-based organization, he goes ahead and asks all those kinds of stupid questions that you just mentioned. And they think it is okay.
No.
So the law, do you think there is any law in our country which states that you cannot intrude into the personal space of a person in the guise of giving employment?
It's a very, very good question, Shashi. I think, forget the law per se, I think the jurisprudence or generally what is considered to be an offense or incorrect or something that is improper. These are not very well defined in this country. Classic example, one of the big five. One of my colleagues, again many years ago, she had applied and got through the offer stage. The offer was coming in when she she tested herself and found herself pregnant.
Okay.
She communicated her pregnancy to the HR. This is big five. I'm not taking the name. The offer was mysteriously withdrawn. Okay. Then there are a huge set of companies in this country where if you are pregnant and you go for an interview, you will not be hired. Okay. If you have just got married, you will not be hired. If you are married 3 years and you don't have a child, you will not be hired. Now the reason is that they do not believe, the organizations, they believe that they are insulated from the community from which they draw the resources. The mindset है कि I am like a well which is insulated from all other wells in this world, and they do not see that they have an implied responsibility towards the very community from which they are drawing these resources. That is why the Tata legacy is so powerful. That before the thought was seeded, the spirit was seeded.
Yeah.
That I will make an organization which will be like this. We do not have visionary leaders like that anymore. These are all board-driven agendas where उस समय वहाँ तक कुछ पहुँचता नहीं. So that is the larger issue, which I believe laws per se would not change much, because what would change is when people are taken to court.
Okay.
Or when large institutions, multinational organizations, they have a policy that they will implement whatever their strictest guidelines are across the world, they will implement in India also. तो क्या होता है कि they will stand as an exemplary example of what can be a good workplace. यहाँ उल्टा होता है. अमेरिका में सब सीधा हो जाता है, नहीं तो वहां पे करोड़ों रुपए का लॉसूट लग जाता है. यहाँ पे वो सब खत्म कर देते. Okay, so that is another part of it. Now let us go back to the organizational issues. A lot of organizations have a Dunning-Kruger syndrome. Now Dunning-Kruger काफी interesting है, जिनको तात्पर्य होगा, you can Google it. It's Dunning-Kruger. So Dunning-Kruger is कि you act so overconfident and you are so underskilled. So you have a team member who walks and trots as if he or she is the greatest gift to mankind, but is the lowest performer in the organization. And these two things don't match. The reason is that, so the study was done and then they realized that these people are so dumb that they do not have the basic intelligence to know what they don't know.
That they are dumb.
This is called the Dunning-Kruger syndrome. A lot of organizations also, when it comes to emotional intelligence, ethical values and workforces, proactive governance systems to mitigate certain of these issues, at every level of that organization, they are dumb. They are so blinded to this issue that they do not have the wherewithal to understand that they can't see it. And that factor is a contributing factor to how women are treated in these organizations. I think broadly workplaces can be divided into masculine and feminine. ये हम लोग जो है पुरुष और प्रकृति बोलते हैं. तो workplaces are also predominantly masculine और feminine. 90% जो है masculine ही रहते हैं. masculine का क्या होता है attributes आप देख लीजिए. एग्रेसिव होते हैं, इंडिविजुअलिस्टिक होते हैं, कंपटीशन में वन अगेंस्ट द अदर होते हैं, और टॉक्सिसिटी बहुत हाई होता है. ये सारा का सारा जो है वो एड्रेनलिन और टेस्टोस्टेरोन वाला प्रॉब्लम है, ज्यादा हो जाता है इसमें. समझ रहे हैं ना? इसमें ये जो टॉक्सिक मैस्कुलिनिटी वाले जो वर्क प्लेसेस होते हैं उसमें एक दो और अच्छा सा चीज दिखता है, बाहुबली लोग दिखते हैं, बड़े बड़े लोग। जैसे सिस्टम में बोला था ना, टू बिग टू फेल, तो कुछ लोग होते हैं टू बिग टू लूज। भगवान है जो बोल दिया सो हो गया। अब ये भगवान जो है ये कितना गंदा आदमी है, आदमी नॉट एज अ आउटकम एक्सपेक्टेशन, एज अ रिसोर्स, बट एज अ इंडिविजुअल, इससे किसी को कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। तो यह है आपका मैस्कुलिन वर्क फोर्सेस। फेमिनिन वर्क फोर्सेस में क्या होता है? इक्विटी, मैग्नानिमिटी, इक्वालिटी, इंक्लूसिवनेस, ये सारा का सारा जो होता है उसका वैल्यू थोड़ा हाई होता है। तो सम टाइम अगो यू हैड गिवन मी एन एग्जांपल कि देयर वाज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वेयर इफ द बिजनेस वांट्स फॉर अ सेट ऑफ टीम मेंबर्स टू overstay beyond stipulated hours, they would have to take HR permission. पता नहीं भाई, आज तो ऐसा कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हमको दिखता नहीं है। आपके जमाने में होता होगा, आप बता दीजिए कौन से जनरेशन के हैं क्योंकि आज तो HR ही बोलेगा कि इससे और काम करा लो, वो दूसरी बात है। Those are all symptoms of a organization which are not toxically masculine, where there are control checks and controls over the degree to which exploitation is allowed. अब आया पॉश। देखिए पॉश जो है, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट एट वर्क प्लेस, इट्स एन एक्ट विच इज अबाउट 11 years old। इंडिया में 1000 एक्ट्स हैं। देर आर स्टेट एक्ट्स, देर आर सेंट्रल एक्ट्स, देर आर स्पेशल लोकल एंड लोकल लॉज। आपके पास मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट भी है। आप हैदराबाद में गाड़ी चलाते हैं, आप ऐसा मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट फॉलो करने वाले मोटरिस्ट को दिखा दीजिए, सारा का सारा उल्टा जाता है। कुछ बोल दिए तो आपको पीट देगा, रेड लाइट जंप करेगा, पेवमेंट के ऊपर से हेलीकॉप्टर चलाएगा, आपको हॉर्न वाला मार देगा। एमवी एक्ट के अगेंस्ट में ये सारा का सारा ऑफेंसेस है, मगर कम्युनिटी या सोसाइटी में आपको दिख रहा है उसका चेंज?
ट्रू।
सो एक एक्ट बना देने से ना लोग नहीं चेंज होते। लोग जैसे हैं उनको अगर चेंज होना है तो बहुत ज्यादा फटकार पड़ता है। यही लोग जिस यहां तक कि द वेरी सेम सेट ऑफ पीपल इंडियन एयरपोर्ट में जाएंगे तो वहां भी क्यू कट कर देंगे।
ट्रू।
वही जैसे ही सिंगापुर में लैंड करेंगे एकदम सीधा हो जाएंगे, एकदम जैसे कि वर्ल्ड सिटीजन। अमेरिका में जाते ही गोरा हो जाएंगे एकदम, है ना? सो देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम इन द कम्युनिटी विच an act cannot solve.
True.
However, it can be solved by the active intervention of its leaders, which comes back to the same issue. ऐसे leaders आजकल हैं इस कंट्री में। कॉन्टेस्टेड केसेस, मतलब कि जो ट्रायल में गया, अगर रेप का अगर केस लेंगे तो डिपेंडिंग ऑन विच स्टेट एंड व्हाट सिचुएशन, एक 18 to 30% और 27% इज द मैक्सिमम कन्विक्शन यू कैन अचीव। यानी कि 1 in 4 वुमन विल गेट जस्टिस। 3 in 4 वुमन आफ्टर 3-4 years आर टोल्ड नोबडी रेप्ड यू। ये सारा का सारा के बीच में आता है आपका पॉश का इकोसिस्टम। पॉश में क्या है आप समझिए। एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में 2-3 टाइप के ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होते हैं। एक होते हैं पॉश का पोस्टर सब जगह लगा देंगे, एक ट्रेनिंग सेशन ले लेंगे, उसके बाद चुप बैठेंगे, ठीक है। इफ आई डोंट गो सीकिंग आई वोंट सी, तो हम देख ही नहीं रहे तो हमको दिखेगा नहीं। जब एम्प्लॉय आपका देख रहा है कि आप देख ही नहीं रहे हैं तो एम्प्लॉय क्यों आपको आके दिखाएगा? तो निकल के चला जाएगा।
ट्रू।
दूसरा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होता है एक्टिवली देखते हैं और जल्दी से फ्लडेड हो जाते हैं पॉश कंप्लेंट से। या आपके पास 10,000 20,000 एम्प्लॉइज है, ऑब्वियसली देयर विल बी अ लॉट ऑफ पॉश कंप्लेंट्स दैट कम। समटाइम्स इट इज जेंडर न्यूट्रल आल्सो, ओके, बट इन पॉश इट इज वुमन अगेंस्ट मैन और वुमन अगेंस्ट वुमन। जो भी वुमन हैज टू बी द विक्टिम, तो दे गेट फ्लडेड। देन व्हाट हैपेंस, They start looking at it from the lens of transaction. So second type is what? They give these POSH complaints to pseudo professionals for the lowest fee because they do not value the spirit of the act, only the letter of the act. Third जो होता है, they have almost everything in place. They have proactive mechanisms. They have mentors for women in every floor. Whenever a woman joins newly, there are touch points across her life cycle in the organization, first 2 months, first 3 weeks, first 6 weeks, where somebody is constantly talking to her. And the men managers have very clear do's and don'ts कि आप एक औरत को 10 बार रूम में बैठ के 10 घंटा नहीं बैठाएंगे विदाउट रीजन, किसी को वीकेंड में नहीं बुलाएंगे, किसी भी अंडरलिंग को आप all the relationship rules, all the interaction rules are very codified. It is held at a very high value. That is why there were several instances last year and the year before last when CEOs of some of the largest organizations were fired. But that is very, very rare. तो ये सारे के सारे हैं. इसमें जो HR का जो पर से रोल होता है, वो तो देखिए दो टाइप के लोग होते हैं. एक होता है जिसके रीढ़ में हड्डी होता है, दूसरा होता है ब्लॉब होता है, मतलब people who take the shape of the requirements of the bosses. ये 90% लोग जो होते हैं ना, रीढ़ में हड्डी वाले नहीं रहते, क्योंकि the moment you have a objective, ethical, integrity laced stance on a workplace issue, you become a very difficult person to handle. You have to have the courage to walk in and tell the MD, tell the CEO, tell the board that no, this is not possible. This is not how, as an organization, the vision can be translated into action. You can't do this. You become difficult. ऐसे लोग बहुत कम होते हैं. I have known such people. They have stood for things that they passionately believe in. They are incredible leaders on their own, and thankfully they are in HR.
Good that you told that, because I want to do another episode on basically the role of HR, how it has evolved. But while you're at this point, I think, of course, after this issue came up of TCS, Infosys, and I was doing it, and I wanted to share my experience that I had the opportunity of working for Tata's for a good amount of time in the initial stages of my career, and I had the privilege of experiencing their values, ethics, and principles, everything firsthand and for a good period of time. And then I also worked with some other Indian big companies, 2-3 companies, which are very big names. And I can tell you a clear difference between these organizations. For one, and this is, okay, I'm just trying to disconnect from the TCS issue because everybody seems to be ganging up against Tata. So I don't want you to link this to that, but I can tell you one thing, that generally, if you see any Tata company, they walk the talk. I'm not saying there are no issues there. There will be issues there. Wherever two human beings work, or more than two people, there is bound to be politics, there's bound to be everything, there will be there. But they are very ethically and principally driven organization. And hence you don't find many people from these organizations which have serious value-based, overly active in forums, going out and talking and appearing and trying to broadcast about their company and something. And whatever they talk little whenever they go out in public forums, it's a reality. But on the other hand, you see other companies, all their leaders you'll find very active. Everywhere in forums, they are talking and they are
बहुत अंग्रेजी बोलेंगे.
बहुत बड़ी चीजें, they talk as if they are creating heaven on earth and their company is a slice of heaven. But back in those companies, and I have been there and I'm telling by experience, they are clueless about the reality of ground. They don't know anything about it. And all the show off that they do there, if they would have been able to implement 20% of it there, this would have been really heaven. So there's a clear-cut difference. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this is that, especially in a company like Tata's, since they are so big, and I wanted to tell you that maybe See, a act, just by putting on an act, like you rightly said about the Motor Vehicle Act, nothing is going to get solved. Everybody has to take responsibility. Can the organizations like Tata's, which are big enough, can afford to have maybe one resource for all the zones, and that person is his contact details? It could be the WhatsApp, email ID, or anything is circulated to all the employees in that particular zone, and all the complaints that go to IC are actually coming to him, or the complaints come to him and he sends it to IC and he monitors IC from there. And the reason why it is important, because any IC that you see, suppose if I am talking of an IC of a local organization here, the IC is generally constituted of the local people. Even the external members who are there are also local people. So as an employee, when I've been victimized, I don't think as a small person I will have the guts to say that, okay, the GM of my company or the CEO or the VP is in the IC, and then there is an external person also, and I see both of them talking nicely. Will they be fair to me?
They don't trust.
They don't trust, so I will not trust. But if I have a number of a person who is not here locally and I think he will oversee, maybe I'm confident. So small organizations may not be able to do it, but a company like Tata's or big companies certainly can do it. That's one. Second thing, also as a country, since POSH is so important and we need this act and we need this act to work, is there a possibility that you have a body like Auditor General actually auditing POSH compliance more seriously? Whether you do Motor Vehicle Act or not is different, because the population is huge and I leave it to the state governments. But at least in this manner, I think it should fall in the ambit of a body like Auditor General, which ensures that the compliance for POSH is strictly adhered to and organizations are rated on this. So these were my thoughts. I thought I should tell because I think this is something that has happened and we only hope that it's not happening in many other places and we just haven't heard of it, because that's my fear.
Yeah, in conclusion, I'll just have to say one thing. See, there has been an increasing gap between the rulers and the ruled. We experience this as ordinary citizens.
True.
In organizations also the same issue is happening. It means the plight and the forces working on the lowest set of strata of employees, let's say the housekeeping woman or the watchman, this is not literally even taken cognizance of by the leaders on the top. वो जो है ना कि आपका एक्सपीरियंस, आपका पर्सनल लिव्ड एक्सपीरियंस है, इससे ऊपर वालों को कोई लेना देना ही नहीं. So this, my humble request to organization leaders is, आप थोड़ा सा अपना लीडरशिप कैप हटा के नॉर्मल आम आदमी वाला कैप लगा के अपने फ्लोर्स में काम कीजिए. क्योंकि वन थिंग आई रिमेंबर विच इज वेरी विजुअल फॉर मी, इसकी I also work with the government. One day a petitioner had come to one of the former commissioners of police of Hyderabad and told her that her daughter is missing for 2 days. And the police station was dilly-dallying with filing a case. वो भाग गई होगी, देख लेते हैं, the normal things. This man was one of the exceptional police officers I've ever seen. He said, Amma, you go to the police station. In 45 minutes, I will reach there. If somebody asks you why you are again coming here, tell them on their face, your bap is coming now. And in 45 minutes time, his entire entourage, he went to that police station, suspended the SHO, suspended the reception staff, sat there, got the duty inspector to file the FIR. And within 2 days, the girl was also traced. Luckily, nothing bad had happened. Now, this incident is such an exception today in India because nobody does it.
True.
That is where the ruling and the ruled, if you do not have the empathy and the ear to the ground, you will never know what individual employees are struggling with on the floors of your organization.
Yeah, true.
So, in summary, ensure that you bridge the gap between the rulers and the ruled, cut down the elitism in organizations, and do, definitely go and experience your own organization as if you are a client and an employee. आई एम टेलिंग कि आप अपना डिजिग्नेशन हटा दीजिए, चेहरा चेंज कर दिया, जाके कभी कभी मिल लीजिए इन लोगों से कि क्या हो रहा है. ये पुलिस वालों को करने की जरूरत नहीं, आप खुद कर लीजिए. आपको आधा से ज्यादा पता चल जाएगा कि आपके जो सो कॉल्ड बाहुबलीज हैं उनका द फेस के पीछे वाला जो है ना वो दिखेगा आपको. So that's it in conclusion.
Yeah, so I think we can keep making acts, we can keep implementing acts, but then if we think that the act is going to take care of things by itself, I think not. Just by putting up posters, just by forming a committee, POSH committee, if an organization thinks that okay, we have done our bit, I think that is the sad state. I think it's like Sutradhar said, it is about you trying to be in touch with your ground realities, and every leader, I think, should do it either directly through him or through other means, but get to know and have means for your employees to reach out. Not one means, 10 people, because just one means of communication may not be enough. If you do that, I'm sure people will have the courage to do it. So as usual, we will try to come up with another episode next week. We want to do another topic, and we'll release our work-life balance video in this coming week. So till then, stay safe and all the best. If you like this content, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment if you think this made sense, or if you think we missed out something, or you want us to cover some other topic. And I'll see you in the next video.